Life and Limitless Lifestyle, episode 7. Welcome.
Everyone.
We are here. How's the volume, everybody? Is it good?
Oh, it's good. Oh,
Yeah, I'm thinking it's good too. Nicole Fox, welcome
Thank
to
you.
Limitless Lifestyle Podcast. I didn't mess up the name on the first go.
You got it.
Episode 7.
Episode 7.
Nicole Fox, one of my favorite agents at our office.
Thank you.
Bilingual. ¿Qué pasa, señorita?
Buenos días.
Buenos días.
Buenos días, Kush.
Buenos días, Nicole.
Gracias. I was going to say how to join us, but contigo?
Gracias por estar con nosotros.
Sí, gracias.
Yeah,
This is 2 years of Duolingo and I still can't do it. And I'm supposed to go to Peru next year and
you have time.
but that's going to be immersive. It's going to be immersive, but the
Yeah.
problem is that it's an indigenous people, so their Spanish is not
Right.
regular
No,
Spanish.
No, it's a dialect.
That's like next level Spanish.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, not really.
It's not even
because-
Spanish. They
because
have their
they're
own.
indigenous, so
Right.
like they have their own language.
Their own dialect.
Dialect.
And dialect. So that what's coming that's from the conquistadors and the
He's
original.
learning.
I'm learning stuff. But thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
I know that you're actually licensed in 2 different states.
Yes, I
Florida,
started in Florida,
Kentucky,
now
yeah.
here.
All
Yeah,
right.
tell us a little bit about how did you get into real estate.
How'd you get started?
So I started in the year 2000 in Miami. That's when really the real estate took off in Miami. And I started doing pre-construction. So really that's what brought me in. I was working a part-time before with a developer, and I started learning and I started loving it, and I thought, wow, this could be a lot of fun. So in 2000, I got my license and I started working with the international market because
Nice.
once I got my
Wow.
license, I didn't know where to go, and most of my friends were from Mexico, and I thought, okay, they have money, they'll be willing to buy here, and I started touching into that market, which was huge because Mexicans do not invest in Florida.
Yeah.
They invest in California,
Texas.
in Texas,
Texas.
but for them, Miami was not a place to go.
Yeah.
So it was like a learning and teaching them, what the whole process was about, what investing in a pre-construction during 2 years. So it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it a lot. The friendships that I made were amazing. And then I ended up opening an office in Mexico City.
Nice.
Wow.
So I opened a showroom, and so I would meet. I had a sales team that I would bring to Florida. I would train them, send them back. They would meet the clients at the showroom in Mexico. Once the client was ready, they would send them to me. I would pick them up at the airport, book the hotel. I would not let them go without me the whole weekend. And then I would show them 3 projects. And by the time that Sunday came, they knew which one they would buy. They will sign and they'll go back home.
Yeah, that's awesome. And
That's
to be
awesome.
clear, you're not from Mexico. You're Colombian.
I'm
You're
Colombian.
Colombian, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you're not. So you did. It's not like you went into a market that was your.
Right, no. I
your
did
home
grow
country.
up in San Diego, so a lot of my friends from San Diego were from
that's
Mexico
right,
City, and my other career took me to that too.
That's awesome.
So let's go from Miami to here.
Yeah.
So being able to being bilingual in Miami is really important.
Yes.
How has that been important for you in Kentucky and the Spanish market that's coming in here?
Yeah, because the Kentucky market is different than the Florida market.
Oh,
obviously.
totally, yeah.
Demographics, geography, everything.
Everything
So how
is
has it been
very different.
Yeah.
I loved it, and I still love it. I think the community in Lexington is growing.
Yes, it is.
Just alone here in our office, I think we have like 10 agents that speak Spanish, and some of them already top producers.
Yeah.
All
So
right.
that to say,
Lifestyle promotes diversity.
yes, we do, and
Yeah.
I'm very proud of that. And
Yeah.
I tell people all the time, when they ask me what company I'm with, I always tell them Lifestyle. So I do see it's growing. And I'm very proud. And our community as realtors, we meet and we see how much is growing. lenders that speak Spanish. Just not realtors. The lenders are becoming very popular.
Yeah.
Inspectors. Before we didn't have an inspector that spoke Spanish.
Oh,
now
really?
we do.
Oh, good.
That's good.
Yeah, I'm going to have one on my podcast, so I'm going to be bringing them in as well.
Is that
So
today?
stay tuned.
No, not today.
Okay.
Today's the lender.
Yeah, we can plug your next podcast, which is coming up after this one.
And the title company. I mean, last week I had Jennifer, from Bluegrass Title. She speaks Spanish. So we see a lot more that when I got here 5 years ago, we didn't have any of them.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So that just tells you how much we're growing.
Right. Now, let me ask you, what are some challenges you have with working with bilingual clients? Because I also work with I'm bilingual realtor as well. So what are some challenges you face?
I think the biggest challenge is the barrier of the language that we have to teach them so much more. We need to be so much careful when we're meeting with them. You know, our first-time buyers consultation might take me 2 hours because I have to explain to them, what the word means, what escrow means, what, the loan, what appraisal, and then we have to translate in Spanish. We have to translate the whole contract to explain to them so they feel comfortable.
Exactly.
It does take a lot more, but you feel so much happier when you hand those keys to them on that closing day that you've done your job and that they know exactly what they're doing. I've had clients that have gone with Americans, and they came back to me and they said, I didn't understand what they were saying. I didn't understand that this was supposed to happen, and it happened, and I was lost. So, it feels good to help our community, definitely.
Absolutely. I mean, like languages, they're all different, right? But it's the smile at the end, at the closing table. That's all the same, no matter, where they're from. Right? So I think that's the beauty of it.
Yes, definitely.
My favorite part of real estate is that it is truly an investment in this country. And I was just talking to a group of people about this yesterday. So all 3 of them were born in this country. Actually, 2 of the 3 were born in Kentucky. And because, I tell people I'm from Lexington all the time, and they're always like, are you really from Lexington? You get that?
I get the same thing too.
Yeah, it's like, no, I've been here my whole life, basically. But real estate is the number one way to build equity, right? So if you want generational wealth, this is the way to do it. There's a lot of countries you can't even do that. You don't even own your property in those countries. Like you buy it and you're kind of like leasing it, essentially from the government until whatever. So this is why I think it's really important to help immigrant families buy property. So this is a question that I know you're really versed with. People that don't have a Social Security number and their ability to buy a property. Can you tell us a little bit about that and how that process goes?
Which I learned that here in Kentucky. That doesn't exist in Miami.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because most people in Miami are investors. They don't live. Yeah, they have cash. They're coming from other countries to invest, but not to live.
Right.
So it's really easy. They give them, for a condo in Florida, you put 30% down, the other 70%, the bank gives them a loan. You have a passport. It's so much easier. And when I got here, I started hearing this word about do you have an I-18 loan? I'm like, what is an I-18 loan?
I-18
so I had to,
yes.
Right. So I had to learn the whole, lingo of what that meant and started looking for lenders that will do it. So they do give them a loan, very high interest rates, about 10 to 12%. And then the down payment is between 20 to 25%.
Wow.
So that's why I feel very proud of our people that work so hard and save that much money. They're coming up with $40,000, $50,000, $60,000. I mean, amazing. They work 10 years, 15 years saving all that money, and they're coming. I have a 22-year-old that bought a house in November for her parents.
Wow, nice.
They didn't have any papers. She was born here. She's 22 years old, and she bought them a house, and it was over $215,000.
That's amazing.
My youngest has been 18. He started working at 15. He was going to high school working, and he was getting his certificate in electronics. And at 18, he bought his house, $120,000.
Nice.
I mean, I'm sitting there with these kids, and I'm telling them, I want to see you back in 2 years, and you're going to buy your second house, and I'm going to teach you how to do this. So that, to me, it's amazing. That we're investing in, like you said, in the next generation and building wealth for them.
The reason I have so much optimism for this country and its future is because immigration is always a possibility for us. We can open the floodgates actually, and they can be very selective in the people that they allow into the country. But what's interesting about it, and I've always I've had a lot of deep thought, like, why do immigrants do so good? And then I think about like my dad's story. My dad was somebody that was in the military in Jordan, and they would make roughly about $120 a month. So like you think about somebody. Now my dad came into a blue collar working class when we migrated to Yonkers, union organization. So because he worked at a garage that was actually owned by the mob, where he was a welder. So all the businesses were owned by the mob. So it's like that's
normal.
It's normal. Yeah. They had like a boxing ring in the back that they trained their fighters, and like it's really
it's just like a
crazy story. Like in Yonkers, New York, it was just like it was Yonkers, New York in the early '80s. Now you tell somebody that just came to this country that was making $120 a month that we're going to give you, and this is the 1980s, he was probably getting $7 an hour, and if you do more than 40 hours, we're going to give you time and a half. Now you told somebody that was making $120 a month,
mm-hmm.
that you're going to give them $7 an hour, and then when they come do the time and a half, they're going to get 11 or $10 an hour. They're going to work their asses off, and they see that the perspective is completely different,
right?
And that hunger is different. It's just but it's also the generational stories of like what do their kids do with it and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But in immigrants, it's usually about the third generation that starts to
it really
drop the ball.
But I feel this generation is starting young. They're hungry for it.
We are hungry.
You know, they really are. I sit down with them and I'm amazed how they're starting to, work. They're going to college.
Mm-hmm.
I see most of the Hispanics here, they're going to college. And I feel so proud that they're going to UK. I see them, going, and they talk to me what they're going to do, and they're already thinking about buying a house, and they're 18.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, if I work for 2 years, could I buy a house? And I feel like, wow, this is amazing.
Yeah.
Our Hispanics, we're the second largest minority in the United States.
Yes. Yeah.
So that right there tells us that we're going to be probably the number one in a couple of years. So we need to educate.
The reality. California, Arizona, New Mexico, Texas, all that was Mexico. It's not like
it belonged to them. So
at one point, it's just a matter of like, it's not apartheid or anything.
Right.
I think this country eventually will be more, and I think actually it's almost at a tipping point. So like the politics don't match it yet, but eventually it will, and it'll be interesting to see.
But when they have tapped into the Hispanics, the politicians now know that it's a huge market for them. So they want our vote.
you know that trailer park over by my gas station on Takes Creek Road. So my brother-in-law runs it. About 20% of the shelf space now is to Hispanic food products.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So. Him and I have talked about this, and we're kind of building a goal of this is that we're going to convert that into a supermercado, and then and then we're going to build a gas station on the road on Takes Creek Road. But we think 2,500 square feet, small, Hispanic, Mexican food store, Hispanic food store, and then that community back there will eventually get converted because I think about 20% of the park right now is Hispanic, and they're buying cash and then fixing them up, and then they're putting them on cinder blocks, the trailers, so they're making them into actual homes instead of modulars. And it's cheap. Like you go get a lot out there for $35,000 and build a 1,000 square foot whatever you want out there. And I think that it's just a matter of, but it's about shifting that demographic in that area.
Yeah.
Which would be a lot better than what it is now.
Of course.
And it's just a working class. It's a white working class trailer park.
And they all start like that. They don't stay there. That's a big, huge difference. Yeah. They don't stay there. That is like their stepping stone. That is like their food truck.
Yeah.
They all start with their food truck and they go to a restaurant. Well, it's the same thing. They always come to me and they say, okay, if I sell my trailer, I can sell it for $30,000, and then I have another $30,000, so I have $60,000 for my down payment.
Yeah.
So the trailer is really, for a couple of years.
Yeah.
And that, that's amazing.
Yeah.
It's like a segue into homeownership.
Exactly.
Yes, totally.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I think there's there's a lot of potential in the market. So our office is very diverse, and it was done deliberately. And part of it is that not that I recognize that, the country's shifting. It's just that I am part of the shift.
Exactly.
So I was like, well, there's a whole market of these people, and they tend to like be hardworking. And
we
so
are.
yeah, and you're right. The next generation tend to be college educated, and so and I'm sitting there like I'm looking at our picture on this screen right here, and I'm like, oh man, it's like three brown people on a screen here, and talking about real estate, and it is something, and it's like
it speaks volume.
And I'm a first generation. You're also first generation. You're second generation. So it's like seeing that diversity, and not that we placate to it in our office, but we also we celebrate it.
Yeah, we do.
We cherish it because it's not common anywhere else.
It's not.
I mean, there are other offices. I applaud them for their efforts, but but what we've obtained, what we have got,
it's a lot.
It's quite special.
It is. It is. When we have our meetings, it's neat to see so many ethnicities. We're all speaking our different languages,
different
and stuff.
religions, cultures.
Yeah,
that's the good thing about it, right there.
The American way.
Need a couple more Indian people, man. Come on. Bring some over, buddy. Get
some
more Indian realtors out there.
I'm sure they're out there. Y'all out there? Yeah.
We got Penny and you. I think we can do a couple more. Yeah. So we're still recruiting here. We're still recruiting. So, like, how do you manage? Because I see you just listed something in Orlando. How do you manage the two-state business thing? Or how do you do that?
I keep up. No, it's not. I keep up with continuing education in Florida.
You've got two
every year I have to do that, and my licenses. I do have amazing connections with all the developers over the years that I worked there. So they send me their new developments. I keep up with what's trending there. I talk to my lenders. I talk to my immigration lawyers. I try to stay. I do a lot of Zooms with them. And I do a lot of publicity in South America. So I do have Zooms with my clients that are there, or if I have business partners in Colombia and in Mexico, I'm selling Riviera Maya as well.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So, I do Zooms with people from Colombia that want to buy there, or, we're going to start doing some marketing for New Yorkers and Canadians that want to buy there. So I do try, and I spend a lot of time making sure that that I know what's going on there. The interest rates sometimes there vary because of the, people,
it's not a stable economy.
Right.
Yeah.
It is. So when you work with international buyers, it's a whole different ballgame.
Yeah.
But I do it. I love it. I have business partners, like right now that I have the listing in Orlando.
Yeah.
I have somebody that I'm working with. She's local. She lives there. She does all the open houses. We do the marketing together.
That's good.
We meet once a week to see, what we're gonna do during the week.
Wow.
And then I move on to my investments and to my clients, because I am also an investor.
Yeah, totally.
That's awesome. That's a good story right there. How you are now an investor.
Mm-hmm.
There's not many minorities that are investors.
Yeah.
And that's not character arc basically, right? Where you have movies like.
And that's the other part, that right now, some of my clients are investing. I have a client that has invested in 4 properties in the last 2 years with me. Wow. Because I sat down with her, she was buying cash, and I showed her, how to do it. Mm-hmm. And now she loves it. She's a professional Hispanic here in Lexington, and she's continually buying from me. And then like that, I have sat down with many of them that I saw that they had the money and the ability to do it, and they trust me because I'm doing it myself, because I have an Airbnb, I have rentals, I'm flipping. So I do a lot at one time, but they trust me because they know that I walk the walk, and I'm not just saying it. You do
all of that. You sell. You have your personal life.
Yeah, my daughter. I'm a single mom, so.
Yeah, no, that's a hard thing, and I think it's you're doing good stuff, and I think there's you also share a common trait with a lot of the agents that we have at this office as well, is that you are an investor. You do your flips. You own Airbnbs, and it's something that we again, something else that we want to celebrate with agents is multiple streams of income.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think it's important. And Chris, you're still young. It's about time for you to get into something. And this is a part of it.
Soon.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the whole. I got into real estate kind of backwards. I was already doing investors, and then got the license, and then the market crashed, and I couldn't invest. So I went all in with the real estate part, but I never stopped investing like that, and it's so important. And then you don't want to be at the end of your career, and so like you want to have a book of business that you can sell first of all.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And having that good CRM is really really important.
Very important.
How do you manage your databases? I mean, it sounds like between your two different
KV Core.
KV Core.
KV Core. I have my KV Core, and I use it all the time. I've learned that, just to focus on a few instead of 1,000.
Yeah.
And just make them, if you have 100, just make sure those hundreds are, you're connecting with them constantly, sharing. I have my WhatsApp, which I have also WhatsApp. I use it a lot, and I put all my information there so everybody gets it.
Yeah.
So I have different streams, but definitely I think KV Core is amazing.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
I mean, it really helps facilitate a lot of your business and streamlines a lot. It does a lot for you, right?
Right, yeah.
All you do is click a couple things on the computer, you're done, right?
So it is. It really does.
Helps out a lot.
And it's social media I'm starting to do now, so.
And you're doing live videos.
And I'm doing live videos.
Yeah. She's shooting in all cylinders.
Yeah, well, so something a lot of people don't know is this is not the first time Nicole's been in front of camera.
Yeah.
So her life before real estate agent. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah.
That's we can come
on
business.
I want to hear more.
Yeah, this is not our first time in front of a camera. So like when she was like, "Oh, we're gonna set this up," I was like, because most people get nervous, as we saw with Jenny.
Yeah.
Very nervous. She's like, "I can't believe we're doing this," and like da da da. And she did awesome.
She
was fantastic.
She was.
But so tell us a little bit about what you were doing before you were a real estate agent.
So I was an actress from.
What?
See, you guys don't know. I know.
Wow.
Yeah, I was an actress for 10 years. My sister got a gig in Miami in 1993, and she didn't want to go by herself, so I had just finished college, and I thought, okay, I'll go with you. And then from there, they had an audition, and I auditioned for a sitcom, and I got it, and I didn't know what to do. I came home and I told Jessica I got this sitcom and I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
How am I just hearing about this?
I know.
That's awesome. So what was the name of the sitcom?
It was LA Cafe.
Cafe?
Yeah,
okay.
it was filmed in Miami, and they had already auditioned in Texas, in LA, New York, Chicago, and they didn't find anybody. They needed a 16-year-old, and I was 20, at the time I was 25. But I looked very young, and they casted me. And I think I went into the casting not caring for it. Like, oh, what the hell? I'm just gonna do it. And then they loved that, and then I was freaking out.
Yeah.
So and then I was the voice for McDonald's, for Marshalls. I started doing voiceovers, and it went from there 10 years, but it wasn't really what I wanted to do. Yeah. Real estate was really calling my name. Yeah, it was a chapter.
I need to introduce you to my friend Dana, who does Spanish voiceovers. She does like for Verizon, AT&T, like she does all the Spanish voiceovers. It's I love watching her Instagram because she's so animated when she does these like.
Oh yeah.
She's like,
I would love to do a movie, like animation movie.
Yeah,
I did one, and it was a Paquito's voice, so it was a boy.
Yeah.
And they took my voice, and it was so much fun. I would love to do that. I wasn't really good in front of the cameras, but I love doing the voiceovers. Yeah. That was fun.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Have you been able to take anything that you did in your previous career into real estate?
Yeah, any parallels?
Well, I think when you're an actress, you're really selling yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You're in front of the director, the producers. You're in front of tons of people that are trying to make the decision if you're gonna get the part. And when you're in sales, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
We're constantly looking for clients. We're constantly meeting. We're talking. We're networking.
Yeah.
So, when you're an actress, it's the same thing. When I got to LA, it was networking.
Yeah.
Everybody's an actress. Everybody, is a director, a producer.
Yeah.
So it's sort of like navigating the same way, just making really good relationships because if you have a good relationship with that director or that producer, you're going to get that part.
Yeah.
It's the same here. You have a good relationship with those clients and you nurture that relationship, they're going to come back to you.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Real estate was like that for you then.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Because you had years of practice already.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So what kind of advice would you give to a brand new Spanish-speaking or bilingual real estate agent? Yeah. What would you give them advice to?
Learn as much as you can.
Yeah.
And I tell them all the time. I meet them and they come to me when we have the classes at Elba and I see them and I knew they're new to the business. I never seen their face.
Yeah.
I go up to them and I tell them, make sure you come and you take classes every single week. And you learn about this business as much as you can, because that's what's going to make you feel secure when you're with a client. Mm-hmm. You're going to know what you're talking about. You know your market, you know your numbers, you know everything. So it's a great business. I mean, I would recommend everybody to join, because what I'm doing right now, it's amazing. Totally. If they want to make wealth, this is the best way to do it, because we do get really good deals when we see them. And we network with with lenders, and sometimes the banks get them, and you get that phone call like, hey, we just got this deal. So I just feel you don't have to spend 4 years in college. You only spend a week, and sometimes maybe a month if you want to do it over a month. And that's it. It's an easy career. It really is. If you love people and you love interacting, this is it.
I couldn't agree more. This is a career that doesn't make you rich; it makes you wealthy.
It does.
There's a difference between rich and wealthy. And I think that's a good key.
And I feel that when you love this work, you don't feel like you're working.
Exactly.
I know a lot of people. A lot of people make it. Oh, it's terrible. The closing didn't close, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, really? Are you kidding me? There's so many more problems that could go wrong.
So many things.
And so sometimes realtors like to make it like, oh, it's terrible, this happened to me. But at the end of the day, I think we have it easy.
I cringe.
We really do.
I cringe when I see videos on social media that says why you should not be a realtor, why you should not be in real estate. I'm like,
those.
Why not?
Why not?
Yes, there are issues, but every industry, every career has issues. You learn to deal with it. You learn to adapt.
And I think it's the team that you're with.
Yeah.
That really is. I feel
you surround yourself with.
I surround myself with the best title company. I know they're going to take care of it. I know that they're, reporting to me, hey, we need this from your client. If I'm working with a great lender, they're calling me. I can call them at 10 o'clock at night. They're still going to answer me.
That's right.
That's a great team.
That is a great team.
So if you surround yourself with a great team, the stress is going to be way less. Way less.
Yeah, totally. And I think it's you're the average of the 5 people you hang out with the most. So in the 5 people you hang out with in your industry the most kind of represents who you can be as a real estate agent. So.
I've had cases where I call my lender on a Sunday saying, hey, my clients just looked at a house that they weren't even thinking about buying, and now they want to buy. Can you approve them? He's in his pajamas. He's like, I'll be on my office in 10 minutes. I'll pre-approve them.
That's the one thing I envy about lenders. They can just work from home on a computer in their pajamas.
Inspector. I bought my own house here, and I had a 24-hour window where I could kick out of the contract. And I called my inspector, and I said, oh, my God, can you come and inspect the house? Like, I'm booked. I'm like, no, it's my house. I'm buying it for me. I need you to go. He's like, oh, you should have started there. I'll be there. So those are the relationships that you surround yourself. Sometimes if we have a window of 7 days, I tell him, I need you to go and inspect now. Sometimes before I even put the contract in, I call him like, hey, I'm writing this contract. Will you be able to go tomorrow? Yes, I put it in the contract. I have already scheduled an appointment. So when you surround yourself, you don't have any problems. You're already taking care of it.
And you look like a pro.
Exactly. So I just feel you need to prepare, you need to surround with the right people, and then when something goes wrong, it might be 1 in 10 transactions.
Totally. Then you may have to release.
Exactly.
If that.
Or something out of your control, but your stress level is much less.
Always find the solution before you even present the problem to people. Is like that's my big tip to people. Is like, you got a problem, figure out some solutions, then present it to people, and then you even look more professional.
Definitely.
Well, Nicole,
thank you so much.
Thanks for joining us.
Fun.
It's pretty fun,
Great
right?
conversation.
Great conversation. Loved learning more about you, and thanks for being part of the team. I couldn't wait for Chris's look on his face when he found out about that, because I think I did the same reaction too. So it's
everybody does.
But please, anybody, if you guys have any questions, please drop them in the comments. Share this video, like it, and we will catch you guys next week. Thanks, guys.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.